my daughters growing up in a building site naturally, and they're going to be subliminally absorbing all of this stuff, whether they're aware of it or not. You know, they're naturally going to know how far apart studs go in a timber wall, and how you install a window, because they've watched me and helped me do it so many times.
Well, it's as much they learn from what you do, not what you tell them. So subconsciously they're learning that, well, it's normal to build. Like it's not something you need to train at. It's just, it's in our DNA. Like, you know, I grew up with it the same way our kids, baking, cooking, like that's really just normal food, like all the aspects of food.
And you're so right. You know, it's the normalization of it. Like that's the work. That's the work that needs to happen. That's what needs to happen on a countrywide level, on a culture level, as the way we communicate with each other. When someone tells you that they're going to build their own house, we shouldn't laugh at them. We shouldn't tell them they're crazy. We shouldn't tell them it's not going to work. That's shutting down this hope and this belief and this tiny bit of self-belief that they had that they could do it. Just gets like chipped away every time someone tells them that it's not going to be possible or it's not going to work. And the more stories we have, and in the end, that's why I did the TV show.
It's so empowering. It really is.
I had no interest in being a TV presenter. That wasn't the goal. I have a huge interest in everybody understanding that it's possible to build your own home. And so it took a long time for the production company and I to land on what this show actually was.
You were much cooler than a TV presenter. Like a TV presenter stands and talks. You were just like, cool, here comes Harrison in to fix it. It was great. I loved it.
It wasn't me fixing the day. I was just
but
there.
you were guiding them. You were like Yoda coming in to help Luke.
Yeah, I'm just there for encouragement and support, you know.
And teaching them how to do it.
And teaching them how to do it. But you know, in the end, for all of them, the main job was that I was the one who believed that they could do it, and would help them when they had those moments of not really believing that it was possible.
Dark nights of the soul.
Yeah, exactly. And you need that. You need those people that you can call on when you're like, this is all going a bit wrong right now. I need a bit of perspective. I need to understand like how far up this mountain I am and how much further I've got to go, and how good the view is going to be when I get to the top.
Because you've seen it, I'd say, so many times where people are about to give up. They're just about to throw in their towel. One thing I just want to go, for anyone listening who goes, building a house is typically for males or those that identify as males. You were saying that in Europe, approximately 97%, I think you said, of people in the construction trade are men. But at your non-for-profit, you were saying 50% are women.
Yeah, at Common Knowledge, 55%
that's your non-for-profit is Common Knowledge.
Yeah, exactly.
Social enterprise, teaching people how to build with natural materials, with what they have.
Yeah, building what they need with whatever they've got.
And whatever they got doesn't refer to like money. It refers to like, you know, you might live with loads of trees around you that you could get wood, or you might be able to build with mud, which a lot of houses in the world are built out of adobe. And
yeah, I think initially I did mean it really literally like that. And now the way I understand it is that they're all resources, whether it's the building materials you're going to build with, whether it's the time you have, whether it's the money you have, like these are all the resources that you have to try and create some shelter. And we've all got access to different resources. So some people are going to be able to spend a little bit more money to get something else done that someone else is going to have to do themselves because they're lower in that resource. Someone else is going to see what's another resource? Your uncle is a plumber. Like that's a resource. That's a resource as much as money or time. You know, that your community, the knowledge that you have access to. If you have a friend who's built their house, that's a resource. That's someone you can ask advice from, hear about their experiences, hear the people that they were connected with. You know, I think when we think about how am I going to get a house, all we think about is money. It's the only thing we think counts in how to achieve shelter for ourselves these days. And once you get a little more in depth with that process, you realize that every conversation you've ever had, every person you've ever met, every bit of knowledge or every conversation you've heard in the pub about what materials people have used, the ones people have tried that failed and the ones that worked really well, the ones that cost a lot, all this stuff becomes your potential resources that you've got to tap back into and ask more questions. And as soon as you start considering, I might build my house one day, you start listening a lot closer to those conversations and you start asking a lot more questions.